All right, I think that we're ready to start now. Good morning, everyone. Good morning from Austin, Texas, and good afternoon for other parts of the world. My name is Andy. I'm hosting this AMA today together with Maxim Ermilov and Maxim Lafe, and this is overnight team. This is a small part of overnight team, but we're really excited because this is the first ever time we're launching our AMA official AMA for overnight finance. So here we go, kicking it off today. Um, so the first question will be to Max, our CEO and founder. Could you please tell us a little bit more about how you started overnight? Where did this journey begin and what inspired you?
Yeah, I'm a traditional kind of financial services person. Have worked a lot with various banks across the world: Paris, London, Singapore, Moscow, J.P. Morgan, Morgan Stanley, and many others. And I've seen kind of one hand all the benefits of the traditional system, which is highly regulated and highly secure and protected, highly low risk for people who use it. On the other hand, with all the disadvantages like low rates, unattractive yields, and generally all the difficulties of dealing with centralized systems. And so at some point, I just realized that people who are just onboarding into DeFi would really like to have something like a money market fund product, something which is extremely low risk, highly liquid, something which is kind of really is the dollars which pay in some minimum yield, but is extremely, extremely, extremely low risk, and something which can be converted from cash and out of the cash really, really easy. And then I just realized that in the DeFi world, the money market fund would be called a yield generating stablecoin. And I got excited about this, and that's what I wanted to build, and that's how this whole thing started. We got support from a fantastic team, two of the members of which are present over here, but obviously we have 12 people at the moment, and also some support from some of the most kind of high-profile investors in the DeFi industry, like Alex Park from HackVC and Sandeep Naiwal from Polygon. And that's how we got started and we launched.
Nice, awesome. Can you tell a little bit more about USD Plus, the stablecoin which overnight team is building? What specific problems it's solving and how is it solving those problems?
Yeah, so USD Plus is essentially is a stable coin. So you can get one USD Plus for one USDC, and you can always extract your USDC back from USD Plus. Um, and this is so that's essentially a dollar at any point in time. So whenever you are depositing your USDC into USD Plus, USD Plus as a protocol will invest in a number of yield generating strategies, things like Aave, which are lending strategies, Impermax, or another lending strategy, MStable, which is kind of, you know, MStable Safe, which is another kind of, I would say, lending strategy, but also stable to stable pool strategies like USDC, USDT on UniV3, and stuff like that. So extremely low risk strategies, only stable coins only, um, but also generating yield. And this yield will pass over to the users in the form of the rebates on a daily basis every day. Um, so the problem it's solving is essentially the capital efficiency of your spare coin cash. A lot of people, would invest a lot of time and effort and research and stress doing yield farming, and some others just have stable coins and sit on them and feel that it's not worth their time because if you're conservative, you need really, really, really big tickets to for the yield to justify your time investments, and a lot of people just don't do that. Um, and so the product we have built is really about for people to buy with one click, and with their stable coins and start earning yield in a safe manner. And so there are three major use cases. So one is like you have your stable coins in your wallet. You have some spare USDC. You don't need it for 1, 2, 3, 4 days or more. You just buy USD Plus and you wait until you need your cash back. So-called liquidity management. It has the name overnight. It's you can actually park your money overnight, which is great. Um, Another use case is liquidity provision in the pools in on IMMs and decentralized exchanges. A lot of stable coins are sitting in things like QuickSwap, SushiSwap, Uniswap, and all the other swaps. And the cash over there is not producing yield. It's producing fees, it's producing rewards, but it's not producing yield. When you do the same pool with USD Plus, it's fees, rewards, and yield, and it's like 8 to 10% extra yield. So it's much more than that, and we believe there's a fantastic use case for deploying that in all sorts of pools. Last but not least, USD Plus is very good for leveraged yield farming. Um, there are various protocols like ChiDAO and Imprimax where you can leverage your positions. Um, and whenever you leverage something, you are typically afraid of the liquidation risk. So the asset you are putting in as collateral, for example, in ChiDAO protocol, you are afraid that it depreciates, you get liquidated, and you lose your money because of the liquidation. With USD Plus, this risk of liquidation is more or less non-existent because it's pegged to USDC, so you always know your value, um, and it's very unlikely or very low probability that it falls below par. And so based on this, you can actually get much higher leverage because you're not afraid of the liquidation risk. So you can, on some protocols, you can get up to 9 times leverage for USD Plus. And although it's producing like 8 to 9 times, 8 to 9%, 8 maybe to 10% APY, if you leverage it like 6, 7, 8, 9 times, suddenly you are like in the 50s, in the 50% APY. And so we believe that's actually a very good use case for USD Plus too.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. So essentially, you're saying that you provide yield of 8 to 12%, even sometimes in some cases even higher than that to people by just holding USD Plus. But it requires a lot of trust. Some people would say that, okay, I if I keep my money, if I have a lot of money sitting in stable coins, I would probably keep them in a very trustworthy place, like a centralized exchange where I'm sure that someone is taking care of them, like a bank. But you're essentially offering me to give you like big amount of money to manage it for me. So the question is, how do you manage the risk?
Yeah, I think centralized exchanges are not risk-free because you have counterparty risk. They have been hacked many times, and you actually never know what's happening to your cash. So it's not such a straightforward idea actually to keep it with centralized exchanges. We actually see the biggest competitor, like the best alternative to USD Plus in Aave, because there you can deposit your USDC, USDT DAI, and start getting yield. And they actually have very high opinion of Aave. Um, USD Plus functions in a very similar way, but yields like an extra 7, 8% on top of Aave. But generally, we believe decentralized is better than centralized. It's low risk. Now you need to understand how USD Plus works, and we've been audited multiple times. We have very solid investors, who have reckoned our team, verified our team. We have worked with some high-profile protocols and built code together with them. With guys like Balancer, we have built code for them, and they have very high opinion of our engineers and of the quality of the code they're producing. Um, we are finance professionals, so we analyze the risk of every protocol. So we do research, first of all, kind of desktop research in terms of what kind of yields we can get and what fits. Then we read the code. We actually look at the audit, look at the code, do due diligence. After this, we connect the protocol to our demo stand, so-called demo stand. We connect it and we run it with a small amount of money to see if things are real. And then only the best strategies out of that are connected to the production. And so this is how it works. Um, So uh, yeah, and again, we select protocols which are highly reliable and bulletproof and audited, but also where we don't see the risk of daily loss. So for us, what is important is not to maximize the APY. What is important for us that there is every day there is profit for you, and so you don't lose your money. So there is no loss. There is only profit, and that involves actually selecting the most conservative strategies. So again, it's always stablecoin based, and we only do stablecoins which you can borrow from other. And typically, like all the crappy, pardon my French, all the strange algorithmic stablecoins which have nothing behind it and there is high risk of losing your money, you cannot borrow on Aave because they don't pass their quality tests.
Yeah.
So we don't do those. And then again, we use protocols which run no impermanent loss risk. So we would do things like USDC to USDT pool, but we'll never do an ETH USDC pool unless we can hedge somehow the impermanent loss risk and the crypto FX risk. So again, from the market risk perspective, and we do very thorough due diligence, and we select things which can only deliver kind of profit to you. Down the road, we obviously audit it and respect it, but down the road, we also plan to build insurance on top of USD Plus. A lot of people have asked us for that, but around the public sale of our governance token, we believe we'll be building insurance for people who get even more protection on top of what I just described.
Got it. Nice. So you keep repeating the word low risk and kind of minimizing risk, but in the same time, we see that there's 8 to 12% APY. Just can you give us a little bit more details on like how this APY is coming from? I know in the beginning you mentioned that, but could you unpack this a little bit? So this APY, how does it generate? Because people are just holding USD Plus in their wallets, doing nothing, right? And somehow their value grows in their wallet. Well, this value is coming from. Do you issue your governance tokens or something like that? Who?
Now,
Well,
governance token is still to come, and down we are a few months away from issuing the governance token. In the meantime, uh, USD Plus is connected to a number of yield farming protocols: Dodo, Aave, MStable, Balancer, things like that. Uniswap V3, and so over there we select the best opportunities, so lowest possible risk and adequate return, and USD Plus, whatever USDC is deployed into the protocol, uses those USDC to invest according to specified rates, to invest them into these yield farming protocols. And once a day, it will collect rewards, resell rewards, rebalance the portfolio. Always this is being done on chain via our smart contracts, again, audited smart contracts. And it's all kind of, it's all on chain, no humans are involved into doing anything like that. Um and that's how the yield is generated. Then at the end of the day, we run so-called payout functions. So the profit for the day is collected and then passed over to the holders of UD Plus via mechanics called rebase.
got it. Makes sense. Thank you for that. All right, I think that we need to pass the word to Maxime and ask a little bit more about product development and recent achievements. Maxime, can you please speak about what are the recent product accomplishments the team has done?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, we have released USD Plus on Polygon, and currently yielding is about 10%, and not a day without a daily profit. The second one, we passed the audit, but most importantly, multiply peer code reviews from industry leaders. And last but not least, we successfully achieved the major milestone. The USD Plus is trading on a quick swap. We launched two pools just last Friday.
Nice. This is great.
Yes,
And
this
what does it mean for the team and for the
the
for USD Plus?
this means a lot of. So since we launched the pool, the USD Plus will be whitelisted on a quick swap and in other DEX and portfolio management tools. So anyone in the crypto can buy or swap USD Plus from another token and another blockchain. So it opened doors for us to be to have a more perspective on the crypto market.
Okay, this is great. Well, since we just started to talk about future plans, can you share a little bit more about the roadmap of overnight and where the development is headed to?
Oh yeah, sure. Thanks, Sandy. Um, has released quick swap pools, and we decided, like in a long-term vision, we see ourselves as a like financial instruments such as a Vanguard or Fidelity, and such we're taking this role model. The our focus will be to uh, to open B2B liquidity sourcing for USD Plus, to expansion to further chains such as the Phantom, Avalanche, Solana, and etc. And last is further community building, including the launch and pre-ICO reward program.
Nice. This is great. So recently you integrated Rubik on your website. Can you speak about it, like what it gives users?
The Rubik allow users from, I don't know, from Polygon, Avalanche, Phantom, and etc. chains to swap their tokens, I don't know, USDC, USDT, and others to use the plus directly in the widget on our D app.
Nice. This is good. So currently you're saying that USD Plus can be minted only from USDC on Polygon, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And this poses quite like problems and frictions for people who have other tokens or USDC on other chains. That is why probably Rubik is something that's there to solve.
Yes,
Our-
it's
yeah.
opened the doors to swap tokens.
Nice. Okay. So a question to either of you guys. So, what is the fully realized vision for overnight and USD Plus? At what point you can start, like you can think, okay, now we've accomplished it. Like it is a successful product. Now we need to move on to something else. So, what is the kind of the end goal, the end game with this?
You know, a lot of people are keeping their cash in USDC, which makes a lot of sense because that's exactly like the dollar is super stable and all the rest of it. But actually, there is no sense. It doesn't make any sense to do this.
Yeah.
I believe wherever USDC is currently used in transfers, in trading, leverage, whatever, USD Plus is much better situated because it's the same as USDC, but it also yields. So we believe that the vision is when USD Plus kind of catches up with USDC in terms of volumes, then it will be the right time actually to say that we have realized the vision.
Nice. This is great. That's pretty ambitious, though. Well, in general, what do you think is the future of crypto, like specifically DeFi and stable coins? Where do you think and where you see this all is evolving to?
Um, I think eventually traditional finance, kind of TradFi and DeFi, are going to converge. So we're gonna see a lot of clients and users moving from traditional finance to DeFi, but also with traditional regulation come to DeFi, and eventually I would say DeFi will impact the traditional finance, but traditional finance will kind of impact DeFi, and it will become some sort of one convergent market. You will not differentiate between USDC USD or USD plus. For you, it will be just $1, and the rest will be just the form which it is being used in. So my view that eventually these things converge.
What about numerous networks which exist now and which keep popping up, and which creates complications for people? Obviously, some, of course, it solves for some problems which are already there, but also like it creates more frictions from moving from one.
There are multiple banks, and there are multiple asset managers, and there are multiple funds, and those guys all have great kind of barriers between themselves. So there's friction in terms of moving funds between one and the other, accounting and running kind of infrastructure and stuff like that. So and actually, if you compare it to that, there is actually less less diversity. There are less chains than there are funds or banks. So from this point of view, I don't think that's a problem. Again, at the moment, you can move your funds seamlessly across chains. You just mentioned Rubik. Uh, the users, they don't care on which chain they are. That's just infrastructure. What they care about is the yield they're getting, the convenience, the speed, the low cost of gas, things like that. Convenience interface also kind of matters. So security. So for users, I think that's a plus because they're getting more and more kind of used to moving funds cross chains, and that's not a complication which is too much keeping us. I think that's stimulating competition, which is good for the consumers, and it's not too much competition for people to create complications for people yet.
Got it. Makes sense. Maxime, anything to add on either of
Not
those
so much.
topics? Okay,
No.
got it. All right, I think that it's time for us to. Well, is there anything you'd like to add overall? Not from my questions, but like something that I didn't ask you guys.
Yeah, all good.
Oh, good, awesome. All right, so let's move on to the question from our community. So, Asragezior1 from Twitter, pardon my French, asks, liquidity, transaction fees, and slippage are always important factors in financial services. How does overnight solve the above problems to attract users?
Yeah, so of course, slippage is an issue when you launch pools and before you kind of have a lot of billions in those pools. Um, but as I said, if you want to mint or get USD Plus, one of the best ways is just to use your USDC and mint directly on overnight.fi decentralized application. Um, and there is no slippage. It's just like one USDC is always one USD plus, and that's it. Second, with the cost of gas, I think it's we are on Polygon at the moment. We'll be developing and expanding to other level tools where cost of gas is relatively low. The USD Plus itself has a lot of logic inside. So on Ethereum, there would be a lot of gas being consumed. But on level twos and kind of alternative layer ones, uh, you know, this is actually very, very reasonable. So from this point of view, uh, I think USD Plus is solving all the problems you just mentioned.
Got it. The next one is D. Luxane from Twitter. What is the biggest focus for overnight at the moment, and what is the future number one priority for the team in the next 6 months? Just number one priority.
Number one priority is to launch a reward program for our users who deposit in our pools on QuickSwap.
To launch what?
That-
Sorry, Maxime.
to launch reward program.
Okay,
Yes.
nice.
So this is a short-term priority, and long-term is to launch on Ethereum, I think, on the mainnet, right, Max?
Yeah, expand to other level tools and eventually get to Ethereum. Uh, and to get to that, I think there's a lot of work required. I think we'll try to time that expansion to Ethereum with the public sale of our token, of our governance token.
Okay. The next question from Twitter, Lucky Pove asks, partnership is always an important factor for every project. So who is your partner, and what are the benefits you get from those partnerships? Max, you want to take it?
Yeah. Balancer has been a big partner. Polygon has been a big partner. Actually, the founder of Polygon, Sandeep Naval, is investing into this. Um, we are partnering with QDAO. That's an important protocol because we want to work with them on having USD Plus leveraged in their vaults. Um, I think these are really kind of the core partnerships at this stage. Of course, on the front end, things like Rubik, which make USD Plus accessible from multiple chains, um, but also guys like Xerion, that the front end provider, are all types of people who we look to partner with and continue.
Okay, thank you. The next one is from Kobe AMA. Does your project support staking program? If yes, how does your stake system work? What is the requirement for user if they want to stake in your platform?
Actually, maybe I start, Maxim, and you continue. The USD Plus does not require staking. So you buy USD Plus and the balance just grows by daily yield. So no staking is required. As Maxim has mentioned, we will be offering a reward program, um, actually starting next week, for people who deposit into the pools containing USD Plus, in particular two pools on QuickSwap and maybe one more USDC to USD Plus pool on either on QuickSwap or on another exchange. So there we will be offering people who stake the LP tokens from those pools. We'll be offering kind of a yield boost in terms of so-called pre-OVNs. Pre-OVNs, one pre-OVN is $1, and it gets you $1 worth of our governance token during at our public sale when it happens in relatively soon future. It gives you $1 worth of pre-OVNs and a 25% bonus on top. So we believe that's going to be a very attractive deal for many people. In particular, because the yield is going to be high, but also pre-OVNs will be kind of giving people guaranteed allocation at our ICO IDO, and that's something which is very hard to get these days. So we believe is going to be quite attractive.
Okay. Maxim, do you want to add anything to that?
No, nothing to add. Max was clear.
Okay. So the next question is from Nina Hill. How have many? So now there are many hackers. So security, scalability, and data privacy are three aspects that are very important. I want to know how overnight team resolves um, these in if an unfortunate security problem arises.
For risk management, we have three lines of defense. So first of all, we we solve this by writing very well, by striving to write very solid code, and we have a process where of so-called peer reviews. So when somebody writes a code, there's always a peer review in terms of how to improve it, how to make it better, how to learn. We also believe that's actually very good for improving the skills of our engineers. Then there is a second line of defense, which is a special person whose job is actually to see what are the holes in the code on our side, but most importantly on the side of the protocols we connect with, and kind of conduct due diligence and deep dive into risks and try to identify loopholes, even for after the peer reviews. So that's our second line of defense. If you wish, that's a special risk manager. And then there's third line of defense, which is audit.
Nice. That is great. Well, these are all of the questions which we got so far. So I guess that we can wrap it up for today for our first AMA. Again, I'm really excited that we were able to start it, and this is the first ever. I hope to see more people coming asking their questions because transparency and trust from the community is extremely important to us as a team. So just let us know, and not only now, no, not only on Mondays, but also just feel free to drop your comments in Telegram, Twitter, Discord, and we're happy to address those questions. And if you have ideas on where the team should go in terms of development or partnership, also feel free to send it our way, and we're here to hear you. Yeah, so I guess that's it for the day. Maxime, Max, thank you so much for participation, and see you next time.
Thank you all.
See you. Thanks everyone who attended.
Thank you. Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.